Boom. Okay. All right, here we go. Hello, people. Hello, everybody. My name is Mike. I'm with the Mystic Krewe, the Silver Ball, and I am going to make some hot sauce, or I'm going to start talking about the process of making hot sauce and all that's involved. And I got to do this anyway, so why not turn a camera on and see if anybody is even remotely interested in learning the process. And it's fairly simple and straightforward, and anybody can do this. So let's just hop right in. Okay, so what I'm basically going to be doing is I'm going to be prepping a whole bunch of peppers. But I'm going to talk about everything else that I'm going to be doing, because that's the biggest time-consuming part is that. And I'm going to keep that thing from bothering us. So type into the chat room, say hello, let me know you're here, if you are here, and let's have some fun. So I've got all kinds of peppers here, and probably wondering, what are all these weird looking peppers? I need to be careful what I touch. So the first thing I'm going to do probably is I am just going to put on some gloves, because I'm going to be messing with different kinds of peppers, and I've learned from experience. And this will be the second major batch. I've done some like little minor batches in the past, but I decided I wanted to do my actual own kind of hot sauce, and this is an example of it right here. So, Mystic Brew of the Silver Ball. This is our hot sauce. This is version 1 of the hot sauce, and I did it in a Tabasco style, meaning that I aged it, created a pepper mash. There's all different types of ways of making hot sauce, and they have a lot to do with the process of how you preserve whatever it is that's in the sauce. There's different ways of preserving it, and what we mean by preserving it is packaging it in such a way that it doesn't go bad, that the bacteria doesn't continue to multiply inside of this thing and have it turn bad. Now there's a couple of different ways you can do that. The most common way with hot sauce is you make it so acidic that the bacteria can't live in the hot sauce. There's different kinds of hot sauces that are vinegar based that can do that, and then but the problem with that is it's either super spicy or super vinegary. If you want it to be a little bit more sweeter and have a little bit more flavor, it becomes a little more challenging to bottle it properly, and then it becomes something that has to be refrigerated and stuff like that. So I'm not a super expert in any of this. I'm not doing it commercially or anything like that. This is just a little boutique thing that we fiddle around with, and but it's become pretty popular among our group, and I'm enjoying doing it. And the last batch that we did not last very long. Only did about 30 or 40 bottles of it, and it's some good stuff. So I'm going to go over I'll talk about everything, and if you have any questions, just put them in the chat room. I'll be happy to answer any questions anybody has about the whole process of how you do it, or how I do it. I'm sure other people have got their own ideas too, and we'll start from there. So first off, you'll see I've got a whole bunch of different kinds of peppers here, and some of them you may recognize and some of them you may not. Obviously, these are the most recognizable ones. This is a jalapeno pepper, and it's a pretty big one. Here's a smaller jalapeno. They're both the same pepper. These ones I grew in my garden. These ones I picked up at the local Hispanic place, and they've all been washed. And just talk about peppers in general. What makes a pepper more or less spicy and all that. Well, generally speaking, the smaller the pepper it is and the greener the pepper it is, the more spicy it's going to be. But obviously there's different kinds of peppers that will be inherently more or less spicy. Like the least spicy jalapeno is much more likely to be still less spicy than a habanero or some of the others. So different kinds of peppers. So I believe this is a manzana pepper. This is a... I haven't worked with this a whole lot, but I like adding larger, sweeter peppers into the mash. So I'm going to make a pepper sauce that's primarily jalapeno and habanero based, but I'm going to add a bunch of other sweeter peppers to give it more flavor, because I like a hot sauce that has a lot of flavor. So what you see here is these are your traditional habaneros. Just drop that one. Now I'm going to wash it again. So these are your typical habanero peppers. I think that they're also called Scotch bonnet peppers in Jamaica, although some people may argue that that's a slightly different, similar hybrid. I don't know. But they come in all different kinds of shapes. See, here's a bigger one. This is also a habanero. This is a green habanero, and this is a red habanero. And you know, there's big ones and there's little ones. All other things equal, the smaller ones are going to be much hotter than the bigger ones. The greener ones are going to be more hot than the orange ones, and the red ones are going to be less hot. So almost all peppers go through a phase where they come out green, and then they turn yellow or orangey, and then they turn red. And basically, as the pepper sits on the vine and goes through these phases, it develops more sugars in it, and it becomes a little bit sweeter. The sugar offsets the capsaicin in the pepper, which is the source of all the heat. So spiciest, less spicy, less spicy. So the lesser spicy ones will tend to have a little bit more flavor. So and they obviously have to be picked at the right time to be able to get this. Now, if you've ever had sriracha, I got some right here. Of course, who does not have some of this at their disposal all the time, right? This is the rooster sauce, also known as sriracha. This is a sauce that's made with jalapenos. But why is it red? Because it's made with red jalapenos. They're picked after they sit on a vine for a while. They turn red. They become sweeter, and so that's why this sauce is so good. It's got a higher degree of sugar in it, but it is a jalapeno sauce. It's interesting that peppers go through all these different kinds of phases. Another neat thing about peppers is that in Spanish, their Spanish names, they're called different things, whether they're fresh or whether they're dried or whether they're smoked. For example, jalapeno is a jalapeno, but if you smoke it, it becomes... Anybody? Bueller? Come on, type in the chat room. It becomes chipotle. That's what so a chipotle is basically a smoked jalapeno. It's pretty cool, and it has a completely different flavor profile. You know, the smoke and the heat that's transferred to it changes the pepper's taste. So, what are we going to do here? Well, what I'm going to do is I love smoking peppers. That's kind of my thing. And, all right, good. Somebody got my Chipotle thing. Thank you. There's obviously a little bit of latency, probably about 20 seconds. So I'll give you guys credit for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prep these to smoke them. I like smoking the peppers. And then I will smoke them, and then I dehydrate some of them, and then I create a mash with others. So let's just jump right into it. So what I'm going to be doing here with the gloves is I'm going to be taking these. These are red habaneros. I'm being very careful with the gloves. I guess with these, now I'll pull the insides out. Throw them away. Although these are pretty nice big ones. I wouldn't mind taking some of these seeds and planting them and seeing what I get with them. I wonder if I should throw some of them in a little vessel. Maybe I'll do that. I'll put this little thing over here to the side. So, there we go. You want to take the insides out of the pepper because they just don't, they're not really part of the flavor. They can add a lot of heat though. The seeds can sometimes. So I'm just going to be cutting these things and chatting. So why do I cut the tops off instead of pulling the stem? Well, I want to slice them in half. Can I just pull the stem? Yeah, but see, it still leaves the inside in, right? So I want to slice them open because I want them to dry. I don't want them to rot. So in this case, these I can't pull on the stem and pull this inside stuff out. Boy, there's some fumes coming off of this. Now, if I touched my eyes or my lips with this, I would be not very happy. And it's entirely possible at some point during this video that I will accidentally do that. And maybe you'll hear a grown man cry. I don't know. Just have to see. So, how's everybody doing? How's your week going on? Where's everybody at that's in the chat room? I'm gonna prep a little bit more of these, and then I'm gonna talk about some of the next steps that happen. I don't usually get these red habaneros, so I'm kind of excited about it. I really almost want to taste one, but I'm afraid to do that this early in the show. Look at that big red. That's a nice sized habanero. I'm really afraid of putting this to my lips and being really, really sorry I did that. Ooh. Now, normally I might want to compost this stuff and not waste it. Maybe I'll put it in a little compost thing. But I'm going to be prepping these, and I'm throwing these, and this basket is going to go in the smoker. I'm going to smoke these guys. And more and more and more, just slicing and slicing. Those look like they're sweet, don't they, since they're so red, but I have a feeling these are really, really hot. Probably not as hot as these guys here. So there's a couple of things that I like to do, and I've grown a bunch of these in my own garden, but I didn't have a ton of them this year. This all came from my garden in this thing here. So what you see here is some habaneros and some jalapenos, and this is a paprika. This is a paprika pepper. This is actually a pretty hot paprika. So I will take this and I make paprika with it, powder. And I'll show you some of that. This is here's an example of some of the chili powder that I make. Right, this is powdered jalapeno with a little bit of smoked paprika and habanero in here. It's a little bit of everything, and I will I'll use that as a seasoning. And I'll also when I'm working on the hot sauce, if I need to kick the sauce up a notch or so, I'll add some of my chili powder into it. So it'll have both a dry and a regular component to it. Has anybody else done anything like this? Have you guys made your own hot sauce or chili powder before or anything? My thing is, you know, if you have your own garden, unless you got a very large garden, you don't usually get a ton of stuff all when you want it. Like there'd be a little spurt of tomatoes or a few cucumbers or this or that, and it's hard to do canning unless you got a nice sized garden. But one of the nice things about dehydrating stuff is if you have a small smoker or a small dehydrator, you can do things in little batches. Like these are 2 Roma tomatoes that I grew. So I will throw these into the dehydrator, because I'm also making tomato powder. So if I don't have enough tomatoes to actually do a large canning of tomatoes, I'll dry these tomatoes a little bit at a time. I've also been smoking them too. I've been experimenting doing that. But you know, you don't have to have a garden. You can just go to the store and pick this stuff up. And what's neat about making hot sauce and making your own chili powder is it keeps very well. So you can, you know, once you make it, it'll last for quite a long time as long as you just, you know, store it properly. Keep it in a little airtight container and stuff like that. And I like to, and you know, you can make your own seasoning and add salt to it and a bunch of other stuff, and you can have your own special seasoning that you can throw on everything. So we're almost through with these red habaneros. They look pretty luscious. So this is going to definitely give my hot sauce a nice deep red color. So let's do these last 2. And let's see, there's a text from who? All right, Brandy's on her way.
Time is 8 p.m.
Is it 8 p.m.? Is my clock off? So, okay, now I will put these in and I'm going to smoke them. I'll smoke them for several hours. And then when I pull them out, I'll take some of them and dehydrate them, and some of them I will actually put into a food processor. I got my food processor right off to the side here. Whew, hold on a minute. You know what? Just a second. Turn on that vent for a minute and suck all that pepper stuff just a little bit. Okay. So now let's mess with these manzana's peppers. I really haven't, I don't know much about them, but I assume that they're pretty sweet. Let me take a little nibble. Wow, that's a great tasting pepper. That is nice. It's got some heat to it though. Although I can't tell if that's just, you know, the fact that I've touched all these other peppers. But it's a nice, sweet, it's got a nice taste to it. I like these. So these will be a really good component for the hot sauce. Look at that. Those seeds are black. I wonder why. But it doesn't look like the pepper's bad. See, if I was watching this, I could Google the type of pepper and then I could say something, but I'm busy with doing this other stuff. So somebody else, if you're in the chat, you could Google it and then type manzanas or this and that, and they come from this, and they're popular in this region, and they're used by this thing, and then we'd all know. I guess these black seeds are normal. It's really, oh, this is a pepper that I'm going to definitely seek out more often. definitely got a really nice flavor to it. This is going to be really good for the hot sauce. I'll save some of those seeds. Yeah, I like to add the peppers that have got some sweetness to them because it really gives you some good flavor to the hot sauce. Well, a lot of people are growing peppers, but they get obsessed with growing the hottest pepper they can, you know. And I mean, I don't get that. If it's so hot that you know you're not really going to be able to eat it, is it really worthwhile? You know, like a ghost pepper sauce is just for messing with your friends. I don't know if you'd really want to put that on everything. Okay, so there's most of our sweet peppers. I might as well take my tomatoes and prep these too. That one side is okay, one side is not. These guys had a little bit of bottom end rot from, I guess it's a magnesium or calcium deficiency in the tomatoes. Tomatoes are really a pain in the butt. So now we're going to move on to these guys, which are probably really hot. I'm just not even going to try to get the seeds out of them right now. I'm just going to, well, if I can, I will. These I do not want to. This little guy, look how small that is. And I got to remember that I've now touched this knife, so this knife is going to need to be thoroughly cleaned. I can't touch it with my hands after I take these gloves off. That would not be a good idea. But my plan is to prep all these, throw them in the smoker, and then I'll be able to kind of kick back and chill. And so some of these are going to end up being in the hot sauce, and some of them are going to end up being in the chili powder. So what I'll do is, and I like to smoke everything, but you could take these just like this, and you could put them in a dehydrator. And you know, any kind of dehydrator works. I've got like a commercial grade one, but they all kind of basically work on the same process. You know, it's just a little heating element and a fan. Those old Ronco food dehydrators work fine. You know, you just take these and you just put them in your dehydrator and let them run until they dry up. And then you take a coffee grinder, and put them in the coffee grinder, and that turns them into powder. Now, I would not advise using a coffee grinder that you ever plan to use for coffee at another point later. So I have multiple grinders. I actually have a coffee grinder for hot peppers, and I have a coffee grinder for non-spicy stuff, and I've actually got it marked. So like this is my spicy grinder, right? And so I'll put the dried dehydrated peppers in here, hit that button, and I'll grind them all up. It's as simple as that. And then you chuck them into a little mason jar like this. And I've got some little silica gel packs in here. There's food grade ones you can get off Amazon. And then this is this is like your source chili powder. You can use that. You can add it with other kinds of spices like you know, salt or you know, whatever you like, paprika and fennel or oregano or whatever you like, and make your own Cajun seasoning or whatever you want. And they come out great. So I'm just going to be prepping, and hoping not to touch my face. I've done this before without wearing gloves, just trying to, being absolutely really cognizant of not touching anything. And it's like poison ivy. You touch something, and then you touch that thing, and it gets transferred to you. There's a dog here that's very interested in what I'm doing, right? I am not going to let you even lick my hand. You'll be sorry. I'm not going to let you do that. So, what else is happening with everybody online? Any questions? Want to talk about how your day is? Because I just got to kind of prep a little bit more of this stuff. And then after this, I will talk about the mash, which is part of the secret ingredient of what I'm doing with the hot sauce. So I'll get a little bit more done, and then I'm going to bust out the next level. So I've talked about prepping all the chilies and what you can do with that. You throw this stuff in a food processor. And I might as well get these guys out of the way. Now, these are regular large-sized habaneros. I'm just gonna churn through these as best I can. I'll still take the seeds out. So it's kind of like a Zen thing. It's pretty relaxing to just sit here, as long as you don't slice your finger open or anything like that. And I use a pretty sharp knife, but it doesn't have to be super sharp because of what we're cutting. This is probably going to be really the last bit of hot peppers I'll need for my hot sauce. I will show you what's going on with the hot sauce, and it's a long work in progress for what I'm doing, because I'm doing like the artesian Tabasco style. You can just take peppers. You can just take a bunch of peppers, throw them in some vinegar, and put them in a mason jar, and you got hot sauce. And that's like what Louisiana hot sauce is, or Frank's, or some of those. But Tabasco is a different hot sauce, because Tabasco ages their peppers like they would wine. They actually put the peppers in oak casks. So that's why Tabasco tastes different than any other hot sauce. It's because it's actually partially fermented. It's aged and fermented. That gives it that unique flavor, because there's some fermentation going on in it. So I do that as well, because why should Tabasco have all the fun? And if you're going to do peppers in a small batch, you might as well do something special with them, right? That's my reasoning. My lips are burning. Wow. And I don't know why. This is a lot of very spiciness happening right here. And maybe I touched my mouth and I didn't realize I did. I don't know. That was rotten. I'm gonna wash my hands.
Are you still alive?
I'm still alive.
Hello, Live.
Brandy's here. I need some wine too. And I know you wanted to open up your bottle of wine, right?
Yeah.
So I'm waiting.
Wow, look at you.
I touched something to my mouth and it's burning. It's burning a lot. Hey Shane, how are things going? Welcome to the club, man. Our newest members. We actually have another new member too that I have to get set up. So yeah, ooh, my lips are burning. I must have touched them accidentally. Wow. Now I gotta finish this. I gotta finish this and suffer. Oh. Howie.
Did the dogs eat?
Yeah, dogs have eaten. Whew.
I got to meet the new cat.
Oh, the one you posted that picture of? That's a cute. It looks like a tiger almost.
It does. Very sweet, very skinny.
For a moment, I was like, bring that cat over here, but... oh my god. Wow. Okay, something happened.
The only reason you don't have to kiss me is because you got pepper lips.
Oh, yes, I need to kiss you. Can I kiss you?
No, not with pepper lips.
Oh.
Where's your opener?
Right in there.
Wow. So the owner of that cat passed away.
Uh-huh.
The brother of the owner moved into the house and just kicked the cat out of the house.
Wow.
The cat has no claws. And the poor thing was living on a neighbor's porch.
Wow, that's a horrible thing
Isn't that
to
a
do.
horrible person? So anyway, it's got to be an indoor cat. And he's really sweet, but he's really skinny because he is distressed that he lost his mom. And he was living outside for a little while.
So where's the cat now?
Jim's house.
Oh, okay.
But Jim has an aggressive cat. So we're not sure how Jim can't keep him. I mean, he'll keep him as long as necessary. But Jim's house is not a long-term solution.
Whew. All right. Man, I didn't... Yowie. That's not how you do it. Lift the handle all the way back. Now do it.
Okay, got it.
Open it, and then clamp down. Make sure it's in the right spot. There you go. And then down and up.
Got it.
Brandy's trying to open up a bottle of wine. Oh, I can't touch my nose.
And then I just
Oh.
pull it out.
Pull it. Oh, no. Keep tightening. Pull it all the way up, back, all the way back. Hey, keep going. There you
Got it. I use the simple wine openers.
Oh, what happened? How did I get this pepper on me? Oh. Wow. All right, well, I can feel my lips throbbing, and I didn't touch them. I swear I didn't touch them.
You must have.
Well, I might have touched my shirt, and then I might put my lips to my shirt or something. I don't know what I did, but
It hurt, whatever, huh?
well, I need to probably do some kind of rinsing, but well, it is what it is. I'll deal with it. So, oh man, I can the fumes. Hold on, I'm gonna kick this on just a second. All right. So excuse that noise. It's right near the microphone. That'll probably make a few people leave the chat room. Just gonna do it for a minute so I can get the these fumes out of my face. Woo! Man. Okay. All right. So all that's left now is I'm going to show the mash of what I'm doing with that. So I'm close to having all of this ready to go into the smoker. This might be too big to go into the smoker.
You don't have any more of those?
I know I do. I don't know where they are. Maybe they're in. I'm afraid to touch stuff. Like if I open up the... Oh, too late already. Yeah, I got more. Okay. But now everything I'm touching, I'm leaving this horrible pepper thing on. Whew. So now I open the dishwasher. So I will touch the dishwasher at some point later after I've cleaned up this, and I'll get that on my hands. Yowie. Whew. Yeah, I think this is. I think it is in the air, but I could feel it on my lips specifically.
Is this the wine glass I can use?
Yeah.
Seems awful big.
Well, you got just remember that it's big glass, so don't fill it up all that much.
Do you want some of this on
Yes.
top of that, though? Now?
So what do you do if you got this super spicy crap on you?
You drink milk.
Milk?
Is that what you do?
Well, I think milk could possibly help ease some of the pain,
But
but
they say milk, not water.
water, yeah, it's not water soluble, but it is. But alcohol or soap or oil, I think, will help with it. But what will kill it is sugar, sweetness. Like, peppers are rated on what are called Scoville units, and Scoville was some dude who grew peppers and liked to rate how hot they were. And how he rated them was the number of, I think it was the number of tablespoons of sugar it took to nullify the heat. So a pepper with 1 Scoville unit of heat required like one, maybe it was a teaspoon, or I can't remember if it was a teaspoon or a tablespoon. But it was 1 unit of sugar, but it was a pretty big unit of sugar to nullify the heat component. So when you see a pepper like, I think jalapenos are like somewhere in the 16,000 range or something, if I recall correctly. I can't remember. But they're like 16,000 Scoville. And then habaneros are like 40,000 or something. At least if I remember correctly. Or, maybe, they can vary dramatically, as I said, based on the size and the color, how much heat they've got in them. So, as soon as I finish prepping this, I'm going to wash my hands, take off the gloves, and then I'm going to show you the other parts. So, doing hot sauce it's a very time-consuming process. This hot sauce that I'm making is literally going to be the product of years of work, because the mash that I'm making, the mash is it's basically the peppers that are sitting in their aging, and now Tabasco ages them in oak barrels, which I don't really have any oak barrels, and I don't have enough to fill an oak barrel. So I've got a workaround for that, which I will show you, so that I can kind of have an oak-like profile. Okay, this is all done. I'm taking these gloves off, never to be used again. Woo! And I'm washing my hands. Oh. All right, let's just turn this on for a second. Bear with me. Get a little bit of these fumes out of the way. Okay, so let me show you where we're at with the. So this is my pepper mash right here. You can see it's partially green and partially red. That's the difference between the jalapeno peppers and the habaneros that are in here. And I haven't mixed it up a whole lot. And inside of this is a square thing of oak that has been charred on all sides. So this is just basically aging in here. And there's a see the black thing right there? That's a big piece of oak. So that's what gives me the oak process. So this is going to sit in my fridge, and it has a special lid that's vented. So like if you were making kimchi or you were doing fermented stuff, this you can put this in here, and you add a little bit of sugar to it, and you let it kind of just sit there and age. There's the piece of wood, and I'm going to be adding my peppers and aging them in this. And I've got a couple of these jars, and that's going to be the main core part of the hot sauce. And I'll add some other components, but you know, my recipe is like my secret recipe. But you use whatever peppers you want, and mine's going to be a combination of all these things, and I'm going to be smoking them and then turning them into a mash. I will take probably half of these, and it'll be mashed into a food processor and then added into these jars. The other half I'm going to throw in the dehydrator and turn into chili powder. And then as I'm creating this hot sauce recipe, I will add more of the chili powder to make it a little bit more, give it more flavor or spice or however I want to do it. So this is the stuff right here, and these fermentation jars are really good for that. So it'll sit in the fridge for, these jars have actually been sitting in here for, I don't know, at least 3 years. So when I made my last batch, this Mystic Brew of the Silver Ball, and this is version 1, I did version 2, so this one's going to be version 3. This one, now once you make up your thing, and you know, the mash is really extracted, so I'll add water to it, or something else. You could add rum, you could add bourbon, you could add all kinds. You could add wine, and I do add wine and some other stuff to it too. And the alcohol will also stop the fermentation and help be a preservative too. I actually added Everclear to one batch.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, because I put some sugar in it and I let it ferment, but I didn't want it to get too fermenty. So then I put the Everclear in there to killed the bacteria and kind of stopped the fermentation process. Same thing happens with wine too. You know, you can when the alcohol level gets to a certain point, it becomes inhospitable for the yeast to. So this is the wine you like. It's good.
I mean, I don't know anything about wine.
No, wine is all about what you like.
It tastes good. It's a Cabernet, and you like that. So I was curious if you liked it.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. And that's, how much is that a bottle? Let's see the bottle.
This was $10.
Oh, okay.
And this is
Dave Matthews'
Dave Matthews Cabernet. Yeah.
Dreaming Tree.
Dreaming Tree.
That's a nice label. Look at that. That's cute.
No, he also does a Pinot Grigio. He's got all kinds of Chardonnay. But I bought this because you like Cabernet.
Yeah. Well, there's red wine and there's
you
other
know?
stuff. Cheers.
Cheers.
So what I can't do in the video is show you the final process of doing it, where you're bottling it. And then there's a couple of other things. There's tricks like adding xanthan gum to it, because just natural hot sauce will separate, and you can add different kind of additives that will keep it nice to get it together and all that. So so probably within a couple of months, maybe longer than that, it just depends. The nice thing about having the mash sitting in the fridge is you can keep it there for as long as you need it to be there until you're ready to bottle it. You know, I don't even have bottles or anything, but when I'm ready, I'll be able to do it. I can do it anytime. So I'll time it to get to a point where I want, and I've got some other little secret stuff like I'm doing. Like this is a little mason jar here, and this has got red wine and some of my chili powder in it. And I'm going to let this.
I was wondering what that was.
I'm going to let this sit for a little bit. Yeah. So if we have any little leftover wine, we'll just pour it in here, because the red wine will turn into vinegar too. And I'm curious what the flavor profile of this is going to be, so I'm going to let it work its magic a little bit. And I'll taste it, and I'll use this as another component when I'm making the sauce, because I'll sit there like a mad scientist, and I'll be like, okay, we'll put these peppers in here, we'll put this, we'll add a little bit more liquid, make it more liquidy. How is it? Is it too hot? Is it not hot enough? Does it need some else? And you know, I can do a batch and get a really good hot sauce, and then I can say, I want to add peach to it. You know, just get some peaches or some maraschino cherry juice or whatever. Add that, and you can create a kind of a fruity component to it, and I think that really makes them tasty. And then whatever you're into, pineapple hot sauce, watermelon. You know, the sky is the limit. If you just but you get the core peppers going, and so that's basically it, really. I think. Anybody have any questions or anything? Feel free to type in the chat room or send an email to mike@mystickrewe.com, MYSTICKREWE. And I'm going to go put these on the smoker. I wish I could bring the camera and show you that whole process, the smoker and the dehydrator, but I'll have to do that at another time. And hopefully some of you guys will be around and you can taste this new version of the hot sauce. I think it's going to be pretty good, hopefully. So until next time, thank you guys for watching.
Bye.